Wherever soldiers do battle, provision must be made for tending the wounded. In Vietnam, the Army nurse serves the combat soldier on many fronts. From the swamps and rice paddies of the Delta to the jungle regions of the Central Highlands. While Army nurses seldom make the headlines, they are all VIPs, very important persons, to the men who are in need of their help.
The general buildup of American forces in Vietnam has called for a considerable increase in hospital personnel. By helicopter and ambulance, the wounded are delivered to the hospitals where Army nurses and doctors are ready and waiting to administer medical aid. Both male and female nurses assist in recovery procedures. If necessary, patients receive immediate treatment in the emergency receiving room. When surgery is required, nurses serving as part of a medical team prepare the patient and assist in operating procedures. In the recovery room or in the ward, nursing duties range from routine bed care of the patient to medical treatment requiring specialized skills. During off-duty hours, many of the nurses are engaged in providing medical care in civic action programs. Another off-duty project is the buildup of this orphanage near Saigon. Here, nurses and doctors alike devote spare time to organizing various activities. Recently, they have helped repair and repaint the children's living quarters and provided medication and clothing. The staff of the orphanage stages an impromptu entertainment for the nurses and doctors. The children show their appreciation with a dance pantomime entitled The Funeral of a Mouse. The activities of Army nurses in Vietnam are extensive and varied. This highly trained chief nurse at the 3rd Field Hospital is also a bit of an architect. Here she looks over blueprints for a new intensive care ward, which she helped design and which is now under construction. After long and arduous on-duty hours comes an opportunity to see a little of the town. Window shopping is the same anywhere in the world, and despite the war, Saigon displays its share of modes and fashions. The sights and sounds of the colorful city provide a novel and interesting experience. The architecture of many of the buildings reflects Vietnam's long association with Western culture. Next stop, the rooftop terrace of the U.S. Army Officers Club, which offers an exciting view of the city. Pictures are taken for the folks back home as the girls who've had a busy day prepare to wind up their afternoon's excursion. Some of the girls may spend their afternoon at the Post Exchange Beauty Parlor, where Milady the nurse goes for the works. At the hospital lounge, a good way to relax is to get together over a game of cards. After the game, of course, there'll be a chance to catch up on the latest gossip. And what's an evening without at least one long session on the telephone? There are always letters to be written to friends and relatives back in the States. For the girl who likes to curl up with a good book, there are plenty available from the nearest Special Services Center. Even the U.S. Army goes along with romance, as this Army nurse is given time out for wedding bells. Before a group of well-wishing friends, the marriage takes place in the 3rd Field Hospital Chapel. The hospital chaplain performs the ceremony. Both bride and groom are assigned to the hospital staff, which makes it an all-Army affair, with all the trimmings. Next day, it's business as usual as nurses accompany patients to a medical evacuation airlift. The men are put into ambulances for the trip to Tan Son Nhut Air Base outside Saigon or the journey back to the United States. The nurse rides with her patients in case she should be needed on the way. At the airfield, she helps supervise the loading of the patients onto the aircraft. Patients and medical records are turned over to an Air Force flight nurse who will accompany the wounded men on their trip home. In a demanding and often dangerous assignment, these women serve in the finest traditions of our armed forces.